everyone, welcome to A Beautiful Mess. This clean I have for you today is one that I did with my mom about a week and a half ago. And this room that you're looking at belongs to an older gentleman, a military veteran who is on oxygen and has limited mobility. But he's not the only resident of this home. As you can tell by this display of food and water, there are some feline residents who live here, and there are 5 to be exact. And although he claims to be a dog person, he does have a soft spot for all animals, which I can understand. But with that many cats around, there comes a lot of dust and dander and pet messes to clean up, which can be difficult even for a healthy person, but add in health issues and limited mobility, and it becomes a daunting task to stay on top of. So we wanted to be able to give him a cleaner, healthier space, as well as for the cats. But this isn't actually the first space we've cleaned in this home. This just happens to be the one that I'm putting out first, and I'm doing it out of order for a reason, which I won't get into. But we were actually hired by a woman we are going to call Angela, who is his daughter-in-law and lives in the basement with her husband and 2 kids. And she hired me to come help her get things more organized in the basement where they're living, because they had to move out suddenly from the place that they were living, and it's just been chaos. And she has not been able to get things in order and needed some help to get things jump-started. So these are just pictures of the basement and where we started down there, which will be a whole other video. But besides making things better for her family downstairs, she also really wanted to get the rest of the home cleaned and organized and teach her kids better habits, because although this is just a transitional period and they probably won't be in the basement forever, she wanted her kids to have a little bit more stability and have some chores and things like that. So she just hired me to help her get things to a place that it would be easier to manage. So just the week before this, I was over there helping with the kitchen and the front room. So that's what these pictures are from, is where we started. And she was right there with me, cleaning along and putting in the sweat and hard work to get this place cleaned up. So now it's time for my mom and I to tackle the father-in-law's room. But just as we were about to get started, this happened. My mom is stuck in the bathroom. Seriously, there's nothing to... Maybe they don't usually close it all the way, because... Oops. Okay, let me ask if there's a secret to getting out. Hang on. I only got a few steps before she figured it out and managed to get herself out of there. So now I have a helper again and we can get to work. So I went outside to gather a few supplies while my mom got some of these blankets folded up and out of the way. And when I watched this footage back, I was like, wait, you're doing a pocket fold, but she does it a little different than I do. However, this is pretty much the way that I would do it with a large comforter. Kind of like the way I did it in the last video where I was helping the woman with cancer and folded that king-size comforter. But anyway, apparently that's how my mom always does her pocket folds. So initially Angela was going to help us in this room, which would have made things both harder and easier. Harder because it creates more work for me when I edit the footage because I have to blur her out, but also easier because there is somebody there to ask what to do with some of this stuff that we come across. However, in the end, it didn't matter because we didn't have a choice. She couldn't help us because she had started throwing up the night before and texted me that morning to let me know that she was not feeling well and that we could reschedule if we wanted to, or we could just go ahead and come if we were okay working without her. And since I already had scheduled my mom for that day, I thought, let's just go ahead and go and get this knocked out. I'm running out to my truck to get my shop vac, which I'm so glad I remembered to bring because I did almost forget it, and that would have made this job about 10 times harder. I usually do try to use the homeowner's vacuum whenever I can, but there are some situations that I really, really need my shop vac, and this is one of those. I also love the fact that my shop vac is so easy to clean out and to clean the filter in between jobs, and it was very necessary to clean it after this job. By the way, this is Angela right here. She's just coming upstairs to check on things, and I told her, we're fine, just go back and get some rest. Being sick is the worst. I was hoping this would be pretty satisfying footage to film, just with all of the hair that was on this bag, but it didn't show up very well on camera. However, I left in this bit just to show you how much we were scaring these poor cats. I felt so bad. Yeah, kitty cat, you might want to go out into the other room because that's going to just keep happening. You're going to be traumatized. Okay, let's talk about those oxygen tanks because I'm sure you've noticed them by now and wondered why in the world there are so many. Well, I don't have an answer for you because my mom and I wondered the exact same thing. I think there were 9 just in this room and then even more in the kitchen. So I'm not sure what the deal is there because I've always thought that the suppliers of the oxygen tanks always took back the old one before they would give you a new one. So I have no idea how he has ended up with so many. And of course, I don't know his full story. Oh, and by the way, I'm just showing you all of this is medication. That is duplicates of a lot of the other medication he had, so I'm not sure what's going on there either. But anyway, what I was going to say is I know I don't know the whole situation, but I don't believe that he is receiving any in-home care. And with his mobility issues and oxygen use, I would think that he'd qualify, especially as a veteran. And I know it's none of my business, but I couldn't help but wonder why he might not be getting the help he needs. And the only reasons I could think of were maybe that he doesn't qualify because family's currently living with him, or maybe he just doesn't like strangers coming into his home, but that doesn't make sense because he let us in. So the only other possibility that came to mind is that maybe he's afraid someone will come in and see the condition of the home with all the cat hair and dander and decide that it's unsafe for him to live there and that he might lose his independence. I don't know the real reason, but if that's even a part of it, I hope that this deep clean helps to move things in a direction where he can receive some in-home care, not just for his oxygen and health needs, but also for just some basic upkeep. I know they plan to hire a housekeeper to come in twice a month, which will definitely help, but I'd guess that he probably also qualifies for some kind of service to assist with stuff like that. Although maybe not while his family is living there. I'm not really sure how all that works. Either way, once we get this initial deep clean done throughout the house, it's going to be a lot easier to stay on top of things. Okay, you're going to see me bagging up some of his clothes. All of them really could have used a wash, but these ones were the ones that were most covered in cat fur. And I bagged these up, plus all the other clothes that were just sitting around the room for Angela to wash. And if I had been coming back the next day, I absolutely would have grabbed as many clothes as he would let me take and taken them to the laundromat, gotten them all washed, and brought them back. But I don't know when I'm going to be back there next, so I didn't do that, but I was really tempted to just even make a special trip back just to deliver the clothes. And then I reminded myself that I have boundaries for a reason. After this little bit of up-close cleaning, I'm going to tell you what it was that I sprayed on here because it's what we used in this entire room, and it's my new obsession. It's something that I've used before, but when they came out with a new scent, I became a little obsessed because it smells so good.
I think it might be fishing stuff.
Oh, okay. I'll put it over with the fishing stuff. So here's what we're using to clean this room. Odoban. And this is the Cotton Breeze scent, which smells amazing. It comes in a lot of different scents, and I used to love the original scent, which is that one in the front, the eucalyptus one, but I kind of got tired of it. So when I discovered this one, my love for it was back. And I always buy it in the gallon concentrate because it makes so much. 1 gallon can make up to 128 quarts, depending on how you're using it. And I use this stuff everywhere. I'm not even sponsored by them, but I probably should be because I love this stuff just for regular cleaning. I use it in my laundry all the time in place of fabric softener. I still use vinegar mostly because that's more cost effective, but I refuse to use commercial fabric softener. So if I want a little scent added, I will just add a little bit of Autoban and it makes my laundry smell so good. I'm going to put a link in my video description for Autoban if you want to try it yourself, but make sure that you're getting the right stuff because there is some other cleaners that they make that I don't love as much. It has to say disinfectant on the front of it. So any of the 5 that are shown here are the most versatile, I think. So go try some yourself. I think you'll love it. This cat fur was so ground in that not even my shop vac could lift it out of that carpet. So I went to grab something that I've been using in my own bathroom to collect all of my hair that I shed off of my bathroom rugs, and it works so well. And you'll recognize it as one of my favorite tools, but I'm using this in a totally different way than it was intended. And I've never tried it on cat fur, but here's how it worked. First, just dry. I just kind of want to see what this does. Ooh, look at that. Whoa. Like the vacuum doesn't even suck this up. No. But, well, no, because, I mean, that's what I originally thought of, but then I was like, I think it's just the bristles. So I was kind of like, let's see if this works. Yep. And I bet it works even better a little bit wet. So we'll be Autobanning at the same time. Obviously, this isn't the most efficient way to do this, just a little section at a time, but I also wanted to test some things just to see what was going to work the best. We do end up doing a better vacuum of the whole room at the end, and I really, really wanted to clean these carpets, but again, there is not enough time for everything. Hold on, piece of hair. That's grounding. It's so crazy that it doesn't even look like there's that much hair on the floor, but when you get it all together, that's just this little teeny area. So, is that like a air conditioner? That I wonder if it still works or if it needs to go to the dump. I should have moved it before I even started this. That was dumb. Sometimes I just see the most satisfying thing and I'm like, okay, let's take care of that first. Weren't those some beautiful sounds right there? So see, if I didn't give in to that temptation every once in a while of just doing the most satisfying thing, you wouldn't have had that little bit of just beautiful content. I was getting so hot at this point, and I wanted to take my mask off because it just makes it so much hotter, but I also didn't want to be breathing in this stuff, so I just had to suck it up and stay masked. Also, I don't know why we are dry dusting this. We should have at least spritzed the cloth before we started wiping. And we got to get those spider webs too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm right underneath.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're so brave, Mama. Right underneath the spider webs.
Stop it.
Here comes another reason I hate wearing the mask and getting so sweaty. Oh, sweat in the eyes. It stings. And I don't have anything to wipe it with. Anything clean to wipe it with, you know?
There were Kleenex.
I know, but they're covered in dust.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so I think, oh, okay, my shirt underneath is clean. There we go. Oh man, that stings. I'm sure most people could have just blinked this out and been just fine, but I am not one of those people. My eyes are really sensitive, and I have never understood those people who can go underwater, come up, and just open their eyes. Like, how do y'all do that? I also have to plug my nose whenever I go underwater. Otherwise, water shoots up my nose and I feel like I'm drowning. And yes, I know that you are supposed to blow air bubbles out of your nose when you're underwater to prevent that from happening. It doesn't work for me. I promise. I have tried. And guess who else has that problem? My mom and my daughter. So is it a genetic thing? I don't know, but it's weird. I remember my mom having nose plugs whenever we would go to the pool because she had to have her nose plugged anytime she went underwater. So we can't be the only ones. Who else out there deals with that issue? Yeah, we just discovered a big pile of cat mess under there, so we will be moving the whole bed to take care of that. But before we start moving stuff over, we're going to finish cleaning this side of the bed and also finally take care of those cobwebs. Oh my gosh. Holy cow. Those are weird. Oh, is it just because it's got cat hair in it? Yep.
Probably. Whoops.
Yeah. Oh man.
Let me get the pennies.
I would have just sucked them up, but you are so much nicer than I am. There's your bum. Finally gonna get those spider webs.
This is kind of reminding me when I was little growing up with my sisters, and we'd always have to choose who gets to do the kill the spider on the ceiling.
Ew.
So I get to do the vacuuming while Bonnie does the filming. Here we go.
Okay. So while my mom works on wiping down these last couple of shelves, I am busy moving out the oxygen tanks so that we can get back behind this bed, clean it up, and then move things over. But as I was moving out the oxygen tanks, it reminded me of another weird fact about my childhood, and that is the amount of random people that we have had live with us over the years. And one of them was an older lady named Maud, and I thought that she was on oxygen, so I was asking my mom, did Maud have to use oxygen? And she's like, yes, but she wasn't that dependent on it. And then that just got us talking about all of the different people who have lived with us over the years. And they still do this. They have people living with them from time to time, probably most of which I don't even know about. And then some I find out about in roundabout ways, like this. Including the
You've been running into someone at the court saying, oh yeah, I stayed with your parents in the basement.
Yeah, like, okay, not shocking actually. Yeah, my husband came home the other day after going to a sentencing hearing on a trial that he just testified in. And while he was there, he was talking to the foreman of the jury, and they started connecting some dots. And apparently, this guy has lived in my parents' basement before. And my husband thought, isn't that such a weird coincidence? I'm like, actually, that doesn't really surprise me that much.
I think we got enough.
Good job.
Oh, that feels so good with that air circulating.
Yes. Wish I had thought of that sooner. Maybe I'll go do that to this one too. Because here is the current state of affairs, everyone. We got a bed full of stuff, but it's categorized. It was crazy how much just opening these windows made it cool off in that room, which is weird because it was like 100 degrees outside, but it just got the air circulating and felt so much better. Aren't these levelers and curtains sad? I really wish I could have replaced them. Or at the very least, I wanted to wash these windows with toilet bowl cleaner with lime and rust remover in it because that works wonders on hard water like this. And it would have taken that film off and just instantly brightened things and just made this whole room look a million times better. But no time for that. Okay, it's finally time to move this bed and clean up all of that cat doo-doo underneath. So we just took a cardboard box and tore off a piece and then just scooped it into these cardboard boxes to take out to the trash.
What are these?
Yeah.
Looks like it's bags with bags.
What? A bag of bags? Oh, sorry. That was a little loud. It is.
It's a bag of bags.
Mom, it's the bag of bags.
It's the bag, the bag of bags.
Every time.
Every bag of bags. Everybody. Hidden somewhere.
I could not believe that it took her that long to realize this was the bag of bags for this house. Okay, probably not the only one. Hardly anybody has just one bag of bags, but it was the first one that we happened upon. And if you have a bag of bags in your home, I think that's your sign that you need to be subscribed to this channel if you aren't already. So go hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, you can also hit the like button. They are in close proximity. I'm sure there's catnip on that, and it's so beautiful. Oh, it's ashes. Oh boy, I can tell because it's heavy. Yep, Rascal, my buddy.
Yeah, don't send a fertile too.
Yep, we won't cut that. Yeah, this is a tricky situation with the cats because I know how much he loves them, and even though probably the best situation for both him and the cats would be to rehome at least 2 or 3 of them, that's a hard decision to make. So I don't know what the best answer is. We're just going to try to make it a little healthier for both him and the cats. It's a cat fur sheet. Wow. Well, see, this whole thing just needs to be washed. Just trying to get at least some of it, which I guess I should just get the vacuum up here, but Oh, oh man. Oh, that's what was down in there. Oh, I forgot to mention this earlier, but if this bottle that we are using to spray the Odoban looks oddly familiar, like it's a Clean Freak bottle, that's because it is. I have 2 or 3 bottles of Odoban at home and somehow none of them got packed. So I had a Clean Freak that was almost gone and I just combined it with another one, washed it out, and then put Odoban in this. So it was kind of nice that it had that continuous spray. Yep, we're using Odoban just to disinfect this because obviously it's not really made for wood. Okay, I'm going to correct what I just said here. I said that we were going to disinfect this, but really we are just sanitizing it. And I'm sure I'm not the only person who gets those two mixed up or uses them interchangeably, but sanitizing and disinfecting are different. Sanitizing kills most of the bacteria and germs on surfaces and only requires that you let the product sit for about 60 seconds, whereas disinfecting is meant to kill 100% of germs, bacteria, viruses, fungi. You kill them dead. And that requires a little higher strength of Odoban in this case, and you have to let it sit for about 10 minutes. Also, that's only on hard, non-porous surfaces. So most of this room we only sanitized, and even in some cases we didn't have time to wait 60 seconds every time we sprayed it, so I will just say it's much cleaner than it was, sanitized in some cases, but I did spray down the bed and let it sit for more than 10 minutes, so that did get disinfected. Okay, we're almost done here. We're going to do one last vacuum, but it was bugging me so bad that there was still so much cat hair on the floor. And then I remembered there was one thing I hadn't tried that I've had the most success with in the past, removing dog hair from our carpet. Okay, there is still so much cat hair. We vacuumed, we've used the brush, and then I remembered this is the best way to get this. A rubber glove. But this really just needs to be cleaned. Actually, the carpet needs to be replaced, but second best thing, just march around here. Marching, I like marching. Okay, that's gonna have to be good enough because it is 3 o'clock and we gotta get out of here. Okay. 90% better. Yes, 90% better. Okay, before I show you the before and after pictures, I just have to show you how much cat fur was in my vacuum when I got home. And I had just cleaned this out, so this is all just from that job. I just did a quick brush off this time, but the week before I did spray everything down thoroughly and got that filter really clean. And that's just one thing out of a whole slew of things I have to do in between jobs to get everything ready for the next job. So my work isn't quite finished even after I've left the client's house. But anyway, let's get to those before and afters. Here is where we started and what it looks like now. Like you can actually breathe in this room again. At least I sincerely hope that's the case, and I hope that if it was the state of his room that was keeping him from seeking some in-home care, that getting it to this point helps him overcome that hurdle and he will now get some of those services. So I'll let you enjoy the rest of these before and afters and just say thank you so much for joining me. And remember that there are a lot more coming up from this house, although it might be a little while before I can get those out because I've got a lot of others that I need to get out in between. So make sure you're subscribed and you've got those notifications turned on so you don't miss anything. And remember to go check that video description if you want to snag some of that Odoban or any of the other products that I just love. Go check those Amazon links. Thanks again for being here, and we will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.